I get so excited about it that I really want to show other people, hey, you should have to watch this because this is such an amazing performance. And did you see the lights? And did you hear the music? And did you hear the sound effects or whatnot?
But I'm really excited to ask you about the process you go through to create an immersive audio experience for your clients. I mean, is there always the same process? What is the process? Like, is it different for different industries?
This is why I wouldn't consider me as much as a business, because everything is always made to order. Yeah. And this doesn't really scale, and I'm aware of that, but it's like a problem I created myself that I don't really want to solve, because the thing is, I'm more of the creative person, I say. Yeah. And I really enjoy what I do, obviously, and I really like to do something for tourism, then something for automotive, and then whatnot. But I couldn't imagine myself doing, for example, sound for the automotive industry all day, because I'm not even as interested in sound as, I don't know, car enthusiasts. So if I were a car enthusiast, it would totally make sense to have like a scalable service. I don't know, like consulting for, I don't know, where to place the loudspeakers inside of a car, which is a question that all the manufacturers ask themselves. How can you improve them? What loudspeakers could you use? And then you would get the experience, and then you could get somebody who's really good at, I don't know, tuning the loudspeakers, and then you would get somebody who's very experienced in, I don't know, finding the right wires. So you would build a process, right? But what I do right now most of the time is, at least I have some sort of sales process, I guess, which is the typical structure that I most of the time I really decline most of the offers that I get, because sometimes people just want to talk to me, and obviously I love talking about stuff. But in the end of the day, I just talked with so many people and everybody learned something, but I didn't earn any money, I guess. So I implemented the way of, okay, what do the people want? Do they have like a proposal? Is this like an opportunity? And then when I really decide to have a call with them, have this typical thing of, what kind of budget do they have? Do they even need spatial audio, or do they want something else? Do they just want to be innovative, or like what's the timing like? And do I talk to the right person? Like, is the authority really there that can decide, okay, we should really book Martin because of whatever he's doing? And for the process, I come up usually with a budget where I think, okay, you want to achieve this. For example, this could be an immersive podcast, which is what I did sometimes already. And then I can measure, okay, this is how long the recording will take. This is how long the post-production will take. I need this many actors because I can't just speak the whole podcast by myself. I need to hire somebody. Maybe this is where I could hire somebody else to do, I don't know, the sound editing for me. But as you can tell, this 3D audio is so specific that I enjoy being part of the whole process. But when there is the possibility to, I don't know, get a Foley artist, like the project I'm doing right now is a bigger project where I really am happy that I can book a Foley artist, because there are so many little sounds that you would have to create, and I would get crazy. But I enjoy, putting the sounds into my session and then working with them.
So you are not making the sounds, like that's not your...
It depends. I mean, I ended up being the actor for my own podcast for some reason, because I don't know, the client really enjoyed working with me, and as you can tell, I do have some enthusiasm about this. I'm not an actor at all, but I can be myself. So I can also put this enthusiasm into a podcast, for example. So this is where I kind of paid myself to be an actor. But most of the time I record the sounds. I sometimes create the sounds. It really depends on the scenario. I mean, I'm not, as mentioned, a Foley artist. And this is where suddenly I realized, okay, 3D audio sounds like something very specific, but in reality, it's not. I mean, as you just heard, I do the creative consulting about, okay, what kind of story works with 3D audio? Then I do the technical implementation. What boundaries do we have? What hardware do we use? And then there are so many steps in between that suddenly it's, as I mentioned, not really a scalable service that I offer. So I'm asking you, where should I narrow down?
Yeah. I think that you are already narrowed down enough. But yeah, it's a good question. Actually, I think that, of course, like you were saying, that you outsource some stuff to people that or delegate to your partners or whomever you trust and have maybe in your pool of creative people. And I think that is always like really important to be aware, just like you were mentioning earlier, that it's about where am I best, and there is no lack of time, there is only lack of priorities. There's nobody privileged in this world to get more time than somebody else. It's like you get these 24 hours and you need to prioritize them in the best possible way. And I think that oftentimes we maybe just want to do a little bit too much, and we don't trust other people to do maybe just as good or even better work than we do. So I think that just thinking about those things is always like really, really important.
Honestly, this was like the first questions I really asked myself when I started my journey, like where I learned about what's intrinsic motivation. I've never heard the term before. Why didn't I learn this in school? But turns out those are the things that get you into the flow, right? Where you don't really think about why am I doing this? Oh, because I get money. This would be extrinsic motivation, I guess, like a motivation you get from the outside. But if you find something that you genuinely enjoy doing, the chances are you will be so good at this thing that you can charge money at some point. I knew I wasn't really there at the very, very beginning, like when I was still studying. But I felt like, okay, ideally I just do sound all day and I get paid. This would be my dream scenario. I mean, I'm not doing sound for the money. Obviously, if I wanted to have a job with money, I would become a doctor or a lawyer or something. But I would just not enjoy being that. Like, this is not who I am. I never thought, oh, I'm gonna be a lawyer when I'm growing older. I always wanted to be something creative. I mean, I already had like a YouTube channel when I was in school, because I really enjoyed being creative and I had those ideas in my head and I just wanted to show them not only to me but maybe other people. And what really drives me is I now have like a very long list about like what's my why, what motivates me. And sometimes I have to look it up to remind myself, because it's something very abstract and something you really need to think about. But what I figured is I really enjoy just doing great stuff and show it to people and ideally also inspire them. Because I feel, sometimes I get lost on YouTube and watch, I don't know, concerts or even the Eurovision Song Contest. And I get so excited about it that I really want to show other people, hey, you should have to watch this because this is such an amazing performance. And did you see the lights? And did you hear the music? And did you hear the sound effects or whatnot? And when I'm in the position of creating this by myself, this is where I basically, lose track of time. And I guess this is where I'm motivated intrinsically. So in an ideal world, I would just be doing things that I enjoy doing all day. And as of right now, this is not the case, I guess, because there are always things in your daily lives that you don't want to do. But this is what I changed in the last years to get more people involved. Like I have a little team who helps me edit videos, to help me with my blog, my search engine optimization, my LinkedIn posts, for example, things that I could do, but things I shouldn't be doing because there's not like a return on an invest, or I would be spending time better off earning money. So this is what I tried to do, at least in the last years.
Can you tell me a little bit about like when you were a child, for example? Like, was it obvious? You mentioned like, it was obvious from the start that I was not going to be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. Like, was it very clear to you that you wanted to, or that you would end up being in sound?
I don't think. In primary school, I remember writing in every, like, we had those friendship books, and I remember writing in every book I want to become a football player. And I was a goalkeeper, and I was okay-ish, I guess, and even made it to some of those scouting events. But it was, in football, you have like this small field. When you are a child, you don't start at the big field because you're like very small. So you start at a smaller field and then you transition to this big field. And this is where I figured, oh, this is so big. And I was like already 6 years playing football. And then I was like 12 and I felt like somehow I'm over it. And this is where I focused more on my musical instruments. I was already playing, I don't know, saxophone and clarinet, and I taught myself guitar, but then I also had guitar lessons. And it changed when I suddenly figured, hey, I can plug my guitar into a computer and record it. How great is this? Because I was never really playing in a rock band, although I always wanted to, but when you are not 18 in Germany, you can't really drive. You don't have a room to play, and you can't. It's really hard sometimes to find the right people that enjoy the same sort of music. So I figured if I record myself and then I overdub myself, I can play with myself, and I really enjoyed doing that. It was so fun because there are so many songs that have two guitars, and I was then playing the rhythm guitar, and then I was playing the lead guitar, and it all came together. And then I figured, oh, you could also do the drums on a computer. How great is this? And then you can put in a whole orchestra. But then I figured, okay, but doing sound just for the sake of it also didn't really make sense for me. So by chance, friends of mine who were in school, they asked me, hey, we are shooting a movie. I mean, movie is like a big word for like, people in school having a camera and just filming what they thought is cool. And they were like, hey, can you do the music for us? And I was like, hey, I never did this, but sure, why not? And I really enjoyed doing that because it created a better experience. It wasn't just the music by itself. The music improved the film. And this is where, now thinking back, this is literally what I'm doing right now. I try to create experiences that really inspire people. And it can be just by sound, it can be by music, or like the overall thing. And I guess this is now what's called immersive experience, which is like a holistic approach to, consuming media.
They say, of course, that music is half the film.
There we go. Sometimes even more.
Yeah, sometimes even more.